What's up, y'all? I'm here live doing my second free webinar about traveling solo like a boss. So just gonna give it a few moments here and let some people join and tune in. I'm a little ahead of schedule, but I wanted to make sure I didn't have no technical difficulties like I did the last time. So I'm gonna play a little music. But we're gonna start here promptly at 8 p.m. Get into how to travel by yourself with confidence like a motherfucking boss, bruh. All right. So we got a few minutes. Just enjoy yourselves. Enjoy some snacks. Get you some hors d'oeuvres. And I'll be right back. I'm cuffed up with my baby girl. Yeah. I'm cuffed up with my baby girl. I'm cuffed up with my baby girl. Yes. I'm cuffed up with my baby. Yeah. Yes. I'm cuffed up with my baby girl. Yeah. Fuck. Where is this? Okay, we are live here for traveling solo like a boss, because a lot of people ask me, how did I get the confidence to travel so many places around the world by myself? And it was a short journey. It wasn't very long, but what really happened was I used to be very afraid of traveling by myself. It was something that I used to always think was something that, you know, uh, people just didn't do. You know, I thought it was something that was out of the ordinary. So yeah. So what? Let me pull up the slideshow here, and we're gonna get started. But yeah, so it's something that I'm very glad that I started doing, because yeah, it's a whole world out here, and you know, it's like you shouldn't wait to travel anywhere that you want to go because you don't have anyone to go with you. Because a lot of times it may not necessarily pan out. It may not work out with your friends. It may not work out with your spouse. It may not work out with whomever. And you might have a whole bucket list of places that you want to go. And you're like, damn, I can't go because such and such can't go with me. But you want to go. Like, so go. Like, stop waiting. Because there's a whole world out here waiting for you to explore it. And I'm going to show you all the tips and tricks that I've used to not only travel the world with confidence, but do it on a budget for a lot cheaper than what you would normally pay to travel to a lot of the places that I've been. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started right here. Let's see here. I got to figure out how to, hold on. Let me see here. There we go. We're going to go to the screen share. Boom. And boom. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. So here we are at Learn to Travel Solo Like a Boss, a live event presented to you by Feed Shine. Yes, that is my company. So the goal of tonight, I want to share with you the tools to travel anywhere solo with confidence, travel the world on the cheap, and I want to show you how to have a blast while doing it. Okay, why am I doing this? As I said before, I used to be scared as fuck to travel by myself. But I yearned to travel at the same time. And I didn't have someone to go with me when and where I wanted to go every single time. Every time I wanted to necessarily go on a trip, I may not have had a bunch of people lined up or one other person lined up to go where I wanted exactly when I wanted. They might not have had the vacation time. They might not have had the money, you know, a bunch of other list of reasons. But yeah, I got sick of waiting and telling myself I was a loser because I couldn't go these places that I wanted to go. So let's take a trip down memory blame lane. I used to blame certain exes that I couldn't travel because they didn't have the money. You know, I used to be like, God, it's your fault. We could be going all these places if you would have your ends right. But that wasn't really the case. I was just blaming someone else. I subconsciously blamed my friends for not being available exactly when I needed them to be. I worried if I had enough money. And these are similar concerns that a lot of people have. Money, not having someone to go with them, blah, 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 the list goes on. Basically, at the end of the day, I made everyone else responsible for what I wanted. I made everyone responsible for my desires, okay? Doesn't really work. So one day I decided to stop waiting for the things I wanted to do. And yeah, so how did I get over myself? One thing I did, I changed my mindset. Very, very key, major key to accomplishing this traveling solo thing. I changed my mindset. I became resourceful. I learned how to use what I had to go to places I wanted to go. Because when you really dig out what you have and the resources that you have available to you right now, you'd be surprised at the things that you can do with what you already have at your in your arsenal. 3, I opened myself up to the possibility of awesomeness, okay? The possibility of good things happening to me. And 4, and most importantly, I stopped listening to the stories that went on in my head. You know the ones I'm talking about. Only losers with no friends travel solo. Come on, nobody travels by themselves. Like, everybody travels in a group. Something bad is gonna happen to you all out there all by yourself. So you're gonna get shanked. You're gonna get you ever seen the movie Hostel? You know, something bad like that, some horror story is gonna happen to you in the midst of you traveling the world by yourself. If you were really cool enough, you'd have a crew of people to hang with and travel with whenever you wanted. And my favorite story of all People are going to think you're weird. This is like one of the biggest things that we have to get over when we travel by ourselves. We think people are going to look at us like we're some type of outsider. We're some sort of ostracized person because we're out here by ourselves instead of with someone else. But then I stopped. I stopped myself. And because I asked myself, what do any of these stories have to do with what I really wanted to do, which is to see all the amazing places that are on my bucket list. And yeah, so the thought also came into my head, was like, what if I was cool enough all on my own? What if me being just out here by myself was enough? And what if me wanting to travel to these places was good enough on its own? Not only that, but what if I could attract the kind of fun I always dreamed about on trips all by myself? I mean, that had to be a possibility, right? Well, come to find out, it definitely was. And after traveling literally to the edge of the earth by myself and back, I want to show you how to do the same thing. So yeah, put your damn phone down. Stop checking Twitter. Don't check Facebook right now. Stay with me until the end of this little peachy webinar, and you will not only have more confidence about traveling solo, but you will also have real life websites, hacks, and tools you can use right now today to start knocking out your bucket list trips. So yeah, everything you experience is based on your beliefs and your expectations. If you expect the best of times, you will have them. If you expect the worst, that is what you will also get. You have to be completely in the door for magic to happen. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean about being completely in the door for magic to happen? You can't have one foot in the door saying you're optimistic that all these great things are going to happen, but then keep your toe out the back door, just in case things go wrong. You have to fully believe if you want the universe to believe you too. Because guess what? You are the universe. You are the creator of everything you experience. You're the one creating the magic that is your life with your thoughts, your expectations, and your actions. So you have to fully believe that great things are going to happen to you, and shut those little stories up that are fear-based and that tell you that all these bad things are going to happen and you're going to be lonely and you're not going to have any fun. All these woe is me things, you have to silence those and listen to the ones that are magical. So yes, let's go through tonight's schedule. Section 1. Okay, we're going to go through some tools for a solo traveler's mindset. Section 2, we're going to go through some lit-ass stories from my archive of travels from just this year, from 2016. Because I went back and I counted. I've actually been on like 4 or 5 solo trips this year. I didn't even really realize it, because it's pretty much the way I like to travel now. It's the best way to me. Always going with a group is always fun, don't get me wrong, but solo travel has definitely been my favorite thing for the last couple of years. Section 3, we're going to be exploring cities like a boss and showing you how to meet cool people in the process. So I'm going to show you how to explore any city you travel to like a boss and show you how to meet cool people in the process. Section 4, our last section, I'm going to give you a bunch of websites, a bunch of apps, and hacks that you can use to travel on the cheap. So yes, we will continue here. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so step 1 to my winning solo traveler mindset. I had to let my guard down. For the love of God, stop taking yourself so seriously. This is one thing I had to get into my mind, because as a person, I've always been a straight A student. I've always been so straight-laced, and I've always made sure that I had the best presentation in front of others. But I had to stop doing that, because that's not really fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just had to let myself be a kid. You know how kids just put on whatever they feel like putting on? that day, they don't care if it matches. It's fun for them. So that's how you have to have, that's the type of mindset that you have to have when you're out here traveling by yourself. Let yourself have fun. Let your guard down. Don't be worried about how people are going to look at you and how people are going to perceive you. None of that stuff matters. You know what I'm saying? Let your guard down and don't take yourself so seriously. Like I said, step 2, be a kid at heart. Be foolish enough to expect something amazing to happen to you. And I guarantee you it will. When you have the expectation that magical things will happen to you, they will. When you fully believe in your heart that you are worth something crazy, amazing happening to you, it will. Step 3, relish the fact that you can do anything that you want. This is the best part of traveling solo. When you travel by yourself, you don't have to wait on other people, everybody else in the house to get up, brush their teeth, take a shower. All right, now everybody's up. So what we gonna have lunch? Okay, after we have lunch, now what we gonna do after that? If you wake up in the morning and you say, hey, I wanna go explore this, that, and something else, you can just go do it. You can literally go wherever your curiosity takes you. And that is the top perk of traveling by yourself. You can do anything that you want and really embrace that. So before I go into that, we're gonna go into I want to go into some of my travels this year. So these are some of my lit ass 2016 solo travels. So I've been to a lot of different places this year, but one of the top places I went to was Tokyo. This was somewhere that I've always wanted to go ever since I was a little kid. Ever since I was 5 years old, I dreamed about going to Tokyo because I guess when you're a kid, that's like the furthest you can imagine going, you know, all the way over to Japan. And this year, just something told me to stop waiting, you know, because for a long time I was like, well, I'll wait until, you know, I'm settled and I'm stable and all these things that I told myself. And I was like, you know what? Life is short. Go now. Why wait? So this was, here is a picture of me in front of the Grand Buddha in Kamakari, I think that's the name of it, in Tokyo. And there's a beach. There's a beach in Tokyo. This is right near the beach there. Kamakura, that's the name of it. One of the largest Buddhas in Asia. So went there. This picture here was when I went to Chicago recently at the beginning of August. Some people that I met, 2 girls that I met, I wanted to go to this pizza restaurant, and the pizza place was it's one of these famous places where they don't even have like a hostess stand. The guy basically looks at your face and remembers your face and your place in line, and that's how he knows when to seat you. So they don't serve food at the bar, which is normally what I do when I go and go to restaurants by myself. I'll just sit at the bar and I'll drink and then I'll get my food. This place didn't serve food at the bar, so I had to figure out a way how to get this pizza because I didn't want to leave without the pizza. So I looked there, I searched out the crowd, I saw a couple people, I was like, hey, would y'all mind letting me sit with you? They looked at me a little weird at first, which of course I think some people would if a stranger came up to them and asked them to sit with them. But you know, after a few awkward smiles and laughs, we sat with each other and we shared our life stories and we had a really good time. This was uh-oh, somebody's saying they can't see the PowerPoint. Hold on. Let me see here. All right, let's see. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Hold on 1 second, y'all. All right, let's see. Okay. Somebody let me know if y'all can see this PowerPoint that I'm showing y'all. Huh. Share. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me see. Okay, there we go. I think this should do it. Okay. All right. So, yeah, this was another trip. Went to Brooklyn recently and met Spike Lee of all people. Literally bumped into this guy. I went to Brooklyn to go to Afropunk on another solo trip and ran into this guy. And this picture here is of another picture that I went to Tokyo and met this guy here. I went to a restaurant and he basically was sitting next to me and I was actually doing a snap and he jumped in my snap and we became Facebook friends. So now we're Facebook friends all the way across the world. So yeah, and so I want to show y'all some videos of some different stuff that I've taken. I want to show y'all some old snaps of things that I've had across from places that I've been across the world and whatnot. So let me show y'all this here. Let's go through it. Okay. Yeah. So since there's no way on Google Hangouts to like share audio and video at the same time, so I'm gonna just show it to you on my phone. And yeah, so this was
my Airbnb host. The second one, he's cool as shit.
You gotta come to Tokyo, yo.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah, so that was my Airbnb host. One of my Airbnb hosts when I stayed in Tokyo earlier this year in May. I stayed at 2 different Airbnbs and he was cool as hell. He was like in his 20s, young cat. I stayed at this hostel and it was about 12 of us in this house, people from all over the world. I met people from Germany, from China. I met this other black chick that was from Chicago and she was just like me. She had always wanted to go to Japan and she just was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go. And we ended up hooking up like the first day and going to this festival that was going on there. So yeah, here's another video. This guy in this video was from England, I think, and this video was actually taken in Tokyo. Yes, they're playing Arrested Development all the way in Tokyo. You would not believe, we went to this nightclub, me and this other chick went to this nightclub called Harlem in Tokyo and had the best time. Another video. Again, this is still Tokyo. Still Tokyo. Okay. Again, still Tokyo. They were playing like all the Atlanta music. So it just goes to show, no matter where you go in the world, we're all connected. We're no different. Just because we speak the same language, it doesn't matter. So this is the guy. That was the guy that I met in Tokyo when we were when I went to this restaurant. We were sitting down just chatting, and I was going to take a solo snap, and he jumped in my joint, and we're now Facebook friends. This is in Chicago. That was the girls that I sat with in Chicago when I wanted to sit somewhere at this pizza restaurant. It's called the Chicago Pizza and Grinder Company, by the way. They are really lit. Like they have like this pizza pot pie. It's fucking amazing. If you ever go to Chicago, look them up. Best pizza you will ever have in your life. So yeah, and this was Brooklyn this past weekend. Just chatting with Spike Lee like it's nothing. Ended up running into this guy, literally bumped into him. He turned around and I was like, oh shit, it's Spike Lee. Oh my God. So, and last but not least, this was Chicago. These two wholesome young ladies invited me out to a club with them. I met them. I was actually just sitting on the curb on the street in Chicago, and I was looking for something to get into that night, and I couldn't find anything on Facebook. That's another good tip. Look on Facebook events and look through things that match your, things that you like to do. And I couldn't really come across anything that was close by. And so I saw them walk by. They looked like they were like my age, and they were dressed like similar to what I would dress like if I was feminine. And so I was just like, hey, what's going on in Chicago tonight? Are y'all from here? And they were like, yeah, so we're going to this club tonight. You're more than welcome to come with us in pregame. And so I went in pregame with them and ended up at this club and had a blast. I mean, it was like this little ratchet club in Chicago, but I had the best time. Like sometimes you got to go to the ratchet spots to stay grounded. You know what I'm saying? You don't always have to go to the nice, grown and sexy places. Sometimes you got to go get you some Hennessy and just be ratchet for the night and have a good time. So yeah, that was some of my trips down memory lane. And so we'll go back to the PowerPoint here. And so yeah, so that was movie time. So how did I meet all these cool people that I came across in all of my different travels? What I did is very important. I followed my interests. That's key. That's like the major key to having a good time when you travel by yourself. Follow what interests you, and you will inevitably find people that are interested in the same things. If you go and do the things you like to do and honor yourself, honor that calling, you will inevitably meet people that think those same things are cool too. So yeah, if you like museums, go to a museum. If you like to eat nice food at restaurants, go to a nice restaurant. If you like to go to the club, find some people that look like they might want to go to the club. You know what I'm saying? Like do things that interest you. If you like to kayak, go, look for a place that kayaks. Follow your interests and honor yourself. In other words, listen to yourself. Listen to the things that you want to do. Because I promise you, you're a lot cooler than you may think you aren't. And what you want matters. It really does. And another thing is do as the locals do. So, and sometimes like the tourists do, because sometimes the touristy stuff, you just got to get it in. That's just what you got to do. When I go to Chicago, for instance, I always have to go see the bean, the silver bean. It's just what I do. I enjoy it. But at the same time, I also want to do things that the locals that are from Chicago like to do. So find things that the locals like to do, and you will find a lot of the scene that's happening. And if you want to have an authentic experience as opposed to, the Yelp guide experience. Another thing, take public transportation. I love taking public transportation when I have the opportunity to, especially New York, Chicago, LA, cities where public transportation is widely available and accessible, and you don't need to have a car. You don't necessarily have to Uber everywhere. I love to take the public transportation. It's a great way to explore the city on the cheap, get you an unlimited pass, and just go wherever your curiosity takes you. Eat where the locals eat. The busier the place, the better. Because if it's busy, that means the food is good. And if the locals eat there, that's where I'm trying to eat. I don't want to eat the places where the tourists eat because usually it's kind of okay and it's hyped up. I want to go outside of the hype. I want to go where the locals say it's good. And again, just like the chicks that I met in Chicago, ask someone who looks like they might be into the same things as you what's going on that day or night. Ask them what's going on and they'll let you know. And 9 times out of 10, they might invite you to go with them. You know what I'm saying? So now let's get to the nitty gritty, the tools and the websites. So 5 tools I have for you for solo travel. Theflightdeal.com. This website, I will tell you right now, has changed my life. It's a great way to find super cheap international and domestic airfares from major airports. If you stay somewhere that's not in a major city, it's still okay because if you can drive there within a decent amount of time, like for instance, I stay in Richmond, Virginia. There aren't any deals on theflightdeal.com from there, but there's tons from Washington, D.C. I'm 2 hours from D.C. 3 hours from Baltimore. So Baltimore and D.C. are on there pretty much every day. So if I need to, and that's why I put stay flexible. If I need to, I just take a quick little day trip and drive to the city where they have the deal and go from there. But theflightdeal.com, I found my ticket to Tokyo. Okay, Tokyo is normally easily about $2,200 to $2,400 round trip, depending on the time of year that you travel, especially from, and that's from the East Coast. I got my ticket from theflightdeal.com round trip from DC in May during the summer for $550 round trip. Okay, unbelievable. What they do is they search for what's called glitch fares. Okay, and there's a ton of websites that do this. They basically search for the mistakes because airlines, there's, from Southwest to United, Delta, it doesn't matter. They all have basically thousands of airfares that they're updating and changing throughout the day, all day, every day. And during that, they're going to mess up some. They're going to fuck up a few. And these websites like theflightdeal.com, basically they use computer software to go and search out the fares that they've messed up in their system. All you have to do is go on this website and enter in your email address, and they will send you a newsletter every day with a list of about 10 to 15 different glitch fares from different cities. And you just look through it. Look through it. If you see a city on there or you see a city that's nearby and you see somewhere that you might want to go, click on it. And what they do is they give you a parameter and a time frame. So for Tokyo, there's certain stipulations for each airfare. And as long as you follow the instructions, you can get the deal. For when I went to Tokyo in May, it was for Wednesday to Wednesday. So I couldn't book it, for Thursday to Friday. It had to be a Wednesday to Wednesday. And it was for the beginning of May, the end of April or the beginning of May. So as long as I followed those instructions, I would be able to trick the system into giving me the fare at the price that they found it at. So that's where the stay flexible part comes in. If you're able to take vacation time off with short notice, with at least maybe like 2 weeks notice, because usually they're about 2 to 3 weeks out, sometimes a month, sometimes 3 months. It depends on what fare that they find. But if you're able to be flexible, you're able to drive to certain cities to catch these deals, it's a great, great resource to use. So go to that joint today, put your email address in, and start looking at the newsletter that they send out every day. 2 and 3, okay, this is for lodging, okay, Airbnb and hostels. If you don't know what Airbnb is, please find out what it is today. Download the app and start going on there and searching for different places that you can stay at for a quarter of what you would pay at a hotel. I have not booked a hotel in God knows how long. It's been years because I only use Airbnb. You can basically use basically what Airbnb is. People rent out rooms or they'll rent out their whole house for a certain price. Like I just stayed at one in Brooklyn when I went to Afropunk. It was about $40 a night. And there was me and about 6 other people in this lady's home. But when you're traveling like this, most times you just want somewhere to lay your head, brush your teeth, wash your ass. You don't need a bunch of amenities and all of this. So Airbnb is a great resource for you to travel and stay places for cheap. So Airbnb is a great, great resource. You can stay at some really cool places that you would otherwise not have access to. When I stayed in Chicago one time, I had a whole penthouse to myself for about, I think it was like $120 a night. And you would pay that for a Motel 6 in some cities. And I had a whole loft apartment in a nice area of the city. So look into Airbnb, look into hostels. Don't let the movie or weird, preconceived notions about hostels scare you about them. Hostels have been my new wave as of late. They're like my favorite thing because I'm able to meet so many different people from around the world. I was just in Brooklyn this past weekend, China, from Germany, and from Turkey, because they were all living or staying in the same hostel that I was staying in. And it was lit. Like, it's amazing. You get to stay in places with people that are literally from around the world. And it also gives you a nice community to start with, because if you're a solo traveler and you stay in a hostel, most of the time the people that are staying in hostels are solo travelers too. So you can link up with other people that are like-minded and might have the same interests as you and usually are the same age as you, and you all can hook up and go out and see the city. I did that in Tokyo. Just so happened, as soon as I walked in the door of the second hostel that I was staying in Tokyo, I met another black chick, the only other black chick that was staying at the hostel. And as soon as we met, we hooked up and we started going and exploring the city together within 5 minutes of me walking in the door. That's the magic of hostels, because see, when you're in a hotel, you're just by yourself. It doesn't have that community feel to it. A hostel gives you a little bit of a community. It's kind of like being on the real world. You know what I'm saying? Like on the real world, but in the real world. And it gives you, like I said, you can cut the cost by sharing a room instead of, trying to, book a hotel by yourself. And the last 2 tips are Yelp and Google Maps. Yelp, I use a lot of times to find the restaurants that are hot in the city, that have good reviews, that people go to and are a good place to find good food. And Google Maps can be a lifesaver for you because it helps. You can use it to navigate the public transit. Not only that, but you can also get a good map of the city in general. When I was in Japan, they have the train stations in Japanese characters, but they also had the actual word. So I was able to still navigate the transit system very easily, even though there wasn't any, English, quote unquote. I could just look up if I needed to go from where I'm at. I could find my location and put in the particular station that I was going to, and it would give me step-by-step directions on how to get there. So Yelp and Google Maps are a great way to navigate the streets and the public transportation anywhere in the world that you travel. It's amazing. Some honorable mentions for these types of tools: Airfare Watchdog. They do the same thing as the Flight Deal. Basically, they find glitch fares. Secret Flying is another one that's on Twitter. All of these are on Twitter. Secret Flying does the same thing as the Flight Deal and Airfare Watchdog. They find glitch fares and share them with you. Then there's also couch surfing, which is another form of like Airbnb, but this one is free. This one I've looked into using it, but I've not used it yet. It's basically a way that you can sleep on someone's couch for free. You don't have to pay anything. You can basically open your home up. If you have an apartment, you would allow travelers to stay with you if they're in the city. And then when you're traveling, someone else will open their home up to you so you can sleep on the couch. And it's basically just somewhere for you to lay your head, brush your teeth, wash your ass before, you go out and see the city. Some other tips: exchange your currency before you get to the airport. It's not really a life or death type thing, but you will get a better exchange rate if you exchange at your bank or on, the US soil before you go wherever it is you're going. Because when you're in the airport, just like anything else in the airport, it's going to be at a higher cost because they know you can't go anywhere. Where else are you going to go? You're a captive audience. So you'll be charged a higher exchange rate, so you won't get as much for your money as you would if you were to do it at the bank or a currency exchange place here in the US before you leave. Create a loose plan of attack before you go. Write out a few places that you want to visit. Like, say if you're going to South Africa or you're going to Rio de Janeiro, list out a few places that you really want to go to, but leave it open to other possibilities. Don't make it so tight and so strict that you don't have any room for curiosity. So I would give yourself a little bit of, blueprint as to what you're doing. And my final tip is to pack light. I love to, when I travel, I don't like to take a lot of stuff with me because it's stressful. Checking bags, then you got to make sure that the bag didn't get lost. Everything that I take with me is carry on. I take a book bag and I take a carry-on bag, and that's pretty much it. And then I leave myself a little room to bring some stuff back. But that's to each his own. But I prefer to pack light and not take a lot of stuff with me. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask, feel free to hit me up on Facebook. I'm under Kevin Miller on Twitter. On Twitter, I'm Exconfucius, or you can hit me up on my business page, Go Feed Shine. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about traveling solo. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let it scare you. I used to be that person that I worried a lot, because you hear stories, and just society teaches you that you should travel with other people. That's what we do as humans. We are with others, but you're more than capable of traveling by yourself and having a bomb time while doing it. And the major key to it is listening to yourself and listening to the things that you want to do and honoring that and telling yourself that that's okay. The fact that you want to go to South Africa, or the fact that you want to go to Spain, or the fact that you want to go to Tokyo is enough. You don't need other fans to make you feel like it's okay for you to travel these places. Just go. Like, I done gave you, you got the flight deal. You can find you can find your airfare for cheap. You got Airbnb. You can find you somewhere to sleep for cheap. And what else do you need? You don't need a lot of money to travel. That's a whole preconceived notion. There's a whole world out here. And what I've learned in my travels of traveling around the world is that no matter where we go, we're all connected. We all have the same wants, needs, and desires as individuals. It doesn't matter if we don't speak the same language or not. If you look like you're lost, I was in Japan, for instance, and I had a lady almost walk me to my Airbnb, like down the block, because she was telling me how to get there, and she just wanted to make sure I made it safely. And this is all the way around the world, so don't be intimidated, about traveling by yourself. And lastly, I want to share with you my next webinar, which is going to be, I'm going to share my screen with y'all. It's going to be about mastering soulmates, attracting soulmates. And yeah, so the next one is going to be September 15th, same time, 8 p.m. Learn how to master attracting soulmates. A lot of times people want to know, how do I attract soulmates, platonic and romantic? So I'm going to go into it, delve into it, my experiences, because I've had both ends of the spectrum as far as being with soulmates, not having karmic relationships and actually having soulmate relationships, ones that actually felt good, felt nourishing to my soul. So I'm going to go into that. But yeah, so that's the end of my second webinar. I plan on having these on a regular basis. I'm going to do them every other Thursday at 8 p.m. going forward. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But I appreciate you guys' time this evening. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm still trying to figure this thing out, but it is what it is. And y'all have a good night. Peace.